Darren, I suppose it's a matter of getting back on the horse now, isn't it? You've had that brief setback on Monday, but it's a matter of recapturing what you had in the 2 games prior to that going into the weekend.
Yeah, it is that. We came together today as a group and spoke about the performance on over the bank holiday, and it wasn't quite to the levels that we'd set over the previous couple of games, and the game just didn't go really well for us. We had the chances, we didn't capitalise on them, and then really from our perspective give away 2 real soft goals. So such is football. You got to look on the horizon, and the next one's fast coming, which is this Saturday again, away at Wigan. So we have to get back to the levels and standards what's giving us hope and giving us a fighting chance, and certainly more of the games that we played against Bristol Rovers, the games that we played against Burton, and the solidity that we showed away at Leyton Orient. All those aspects of the game has to prevail on Saturday if we are to go to Wigan and come away with a result.
Is it fair to say you're kind of in a 3-team league at the minute with Burton and Cheltenham and you, and whoever finishes top of that is likely going to stay up?
Depends. I don't think, Phil, you can ever say that with football. Football's such a unique industry that we could be talking like this, and come the end of it at 5:30 on a Saturday, results go your way, and then all of a sudden you open the door and you bring so many other teams into it. So really, I think we just got to go with the facts, and the facts what I always go to is just look to Port Vale and making sure that are we preparing as best as we can, and when the games come, we're maxing out in all departments to make sure that we try and get the points that's available and on show. And I think that's all we're just focusing on. I don't want the players, and certainly myself, is not looking too far ahead than the game on Saturday. And that's all where our focus just lies, really, is just focusing on the game on Saturday and making sure that we get back on track.
How hard is that to do, though? Because you'll be very much aware of the external pressures on you. Is it hard to kind of keep that single-minded when you're in this situation?
Yeah, I suppose, certainly from my experience, and I call this like the business end of the season for various different reasons, but certainly for our case, we know what we need to do, we know the remainder of the games, but the remainder of the games will come at the appointed time when they're designated to play them. So there's nothing you can do in terms of looking ahead and making assumptions on how it's going to go or how this is going to go. The biggest thing is making sure that you're taking care of the basics, playing the players, playing to their strengths, and making sure that their focus and desire is on that game, because that's what you can only take care of at the time. Any of the games after that, as I said, you're making assumptions. You just got to make sure that when we come off the back of the Wigan game, have we given a good account of ourselves? And that's what the players want to be, in that position where they're saying that when they come off the pitch, I couldn't give any more for the football club in terms of my approach in the game. And if we've got all the squad of players saying that, then I'm sure we'll be in a healthy, good place. But that's the biggest challenge for us, really, and that's what I've been implementing into the players, certainly over the last 24, 48 hours.
Something we've not discussed with you, but I was keen to get an insight, is your backroom team, since you've come, and the guys and how they support you. Can you give us a bit of an insight into them and how they help you and are helping the group at the minute, the different kind of qualities that they bring?
Yeah, so you got Wayne Jacobs. He's sort of brought him in as an assistant manager, and Wayne at the moment is assisting and helping me as he normally would. But what I've tried to do with Wayne is kind of put the defensive set play structure on him in looking after that. And then you got Lee Bradbury and Jamie Smith as 2 first team coaches. And Lee's probably job now is to look at the attacking parts of the set plays. I'll put that on him. In terms of Lee has been sort of an ex-manager at Bournemouth, Eastleigh, and haven't in the lower leagues. So he's got managerial experience that he can give me advice in areas, because he's been there and seen it and done it. So he's doing that, and he's a striker as well. So he's been working with the strikers and the attackers at the football club. So I think he brings a different dynamic. And of course with Jamie Smith, he's somebody that I've worked with for a really, really long time, and he's a first team coach, a real exceptional coach. And me and him will work the in and out in possession with the team on a daily basis and match day basis. And then And then you got Gary Walsh as a goalkeeping coach, and Walsh is a real top coach and somebody that I worked with at my previous club at West Brom, and we were former teammates at Bradford, and he's an exceptional coach. And with Jason and Connor, you know, he certainly keeps them on their toes really in terms of keeping that competitive edge. So that's the makeup of the team, and yeah, they really do support me, and they bring a different dynamics to the coaching team. They're all challengeable. They challenge me, which is what you want. And yeah, we've got some work to do from now to the end of the season. So and we're all hard at work at it.
When you're in the situation that you're in, I've seen other managers talk this week about they need people around them that they can trust. How, you know, that relationship, how vital is that at this stage of the season, that you know that the people around you are people you can rely on and believe in you just as much as you believe in them?
Yeah, I think that's really important, to have your team around you. But also, I think that the biggest thing, I know managers talk about the trust, and yes, but it's having a team of people as well. They know how you tick, and they understand you as well. And they see you on your good days, and they see you on your bad days, and they're able to pitch the right temperature in terms of when they catch you on both different days and give you that support. And I think they're an exceptional group of men that have all those qualities in them, and yet whatever dynamic is put together, we all get on just as well. But also whatever dynamic is put together, they're all challenging as well. And I think that's the biggest thing. It's not just about getting on well, but it's being in a position that they have a thirst, a hunger and a drive to move Port Vale forward, but they've got a thirst, a hunger and a drive as well to be challenging against one another. And I think that's really, really good because it keeps everybody sharp.
Just one thing I wanted to explore with your role. Obviously, you know, David Flitcroft left a couple of weeks ago now. Can you tell us how maybe your role has changed, and what, if any, extra responsibility has now come in your direction as a result of that?
Yeah, you know, Phil, since obviously David left, obviously my main focus and aim is on the first team, but also we're aware that at this stage of the season, believe it or not, things have been discussed up next season. So I suppose there's probably more ownership on myself is going to be taking part with that, with heads of departments here and recruitment in terms of that going forward. So those are two major areas really. It's really not difficult, but I am the here and now, but also I'm aware that there are things that need putting in place for next season. And you've just caught me now, Phil, where I'm just about having those meetings now. So they're all just starting to take place now, because believe it or not, a lot of people think at the end of the season, we pick up for next season. Very much not. It's happening now in terms of organisation, pre-season, players. There's so much going on at this stage now, whilst keeping your foot firmly on the gas for the here and now this season. So there is a lot to consider. There is a lot happening, and it's all part and parcel of the football and the football club going forward, and I'm very much aware of it. But and I'm looking forward to having all the meetings and putting my input into driving and moving this club forward. And I'm really looking forward to them, and we're just on the horizon with them now.
Going forward, what do you want Darren Moore's Port Vale team to look like then, when you're considering things like that?
Yeah, I mean, again, for me, it's to we've discussed as well with Carol and Kevin in terms of what the team looks like. Obviously, I'm aware that to how the team looks like, I want everybody at the football club to be aligned with it. It's not just about Darren Moore running off and building this team. It's really important that the team that we're looking to build and take this club forward, that we're all aligned in terms of what the team looks like and what the vision of the football club. And the vision of the football club, the team has to replicate that, because in terms of going forward, but so does all departments in terms of the football club. A lot of people will jump to the team. Really important, Phil, that the structure's right first. Once you get the structure in the football club right, the team follows, really. And I think that's the biggest thing, that there's a lot of talks to be had. There is a process at this football club, but under the process you want there to be progression as well. So that takes a lot of structured meeting in making sure that that's right. And that's the biggest and most exciting thing really that has drawn me here as a manager in terms of Kevin and Carol's their insight into this football club and what they want to do to the football club, and me becoming a manager here and trying to bring all those dynamics to the football club on the football field, but also behind the scenes, because before it happens on the football field, behind the scenes it has to be right. So there is a lot of work for the summer, but in terms of the work in the summer, I'm not alone. We've got a team and a structured team behind us.
Do you anticipate maybe a turnover when it comes to the first team squad? Because a lot of those lads are, midway through deals and what have you. So do you anticipate a lot of movement? There's some lads who are out of contract. I'm thinking like James Wilson and Uche and people like that. Do you anticipate a lot of movement at this stage? I admit it's early and I understand at that point, but can you see that changing a lot in the summer when it comes to the first team?
I think for now with the first team, the most important thing for all of us is Port Vale Football Club. And every single one of us are on the contract, whether it be your contract's up at the end of the season or there's lads with longer contracts on it. And we are focused and committed with this season and focus on these 6 games. And I think that's the biggest thing. In terms of discussions with the current group of players, that's not been had yet, because from our perspective of the football club, there's more than enough to focus on, for which the game on Saturday and the foreseeable games. And that's what we're all contracted to this football club to do, and that's what I'll make sure that the players are focused on doing. After that, then we'll look at the group and discuss the group in terms of where we're at, because I think to discuss that now would be the wrong thing to do. And whilst I want the team focused, we got to keep focus on the games that's coming up, and I think that's more than enough really then to worry about contractual situations.
Wigan on Saturday, it's start of, I know you'll say focus on next game, but it's the start of a big 3-game week really, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that could define things, but with that game on its own, there is maybe in a false position with their points deductions, but how do you approach it against a side that's lost its last couple but is capable of turning it on the day? Have you got to be quite wary?
Absolutely. They probably feel that they are in a false position with obviously the points deduction, what they did have. Got a good group of players, exceptional group of players, and they've got a wonderful rhythm to them and a fluidity to their play. Play football really, really well, and got good patterns. So it's a game that we know we have to get back to our very, very best levels in order to go up there and come away with anything really. So it's another big game, a challenging game, another game that we have to approach it together, and another game that if we are to overcome that hurdle and get the right result, we know we've got to have top performances. So in terms of that, our preparation in terms of these last couple of days has been good, and we have to continue that and get ready for another difficult game on Saturday. But again, it's a game that we were looking forward to. It's a different type of game that we had at Northampton, and that's the beauty of this league. There's different tests, and they come in different shapes and sizes, and different in terms of style of play. And it's one that we got to be ready for.